Sorry there. Hello. My name is Brendan White. I'm your commentator for this evening. Welcome to PSGL PSF4, sponsored by GT Omega. Make sure to check out the products. We're here for the last run to qualifying. And I'll have to apologise because of issues on my end, and also the fact my stream did break when trying to get it up the first time. So hopefully we can just get going now. We had our own issues as we unable to get the update on time. Those circumstances prevented me from doing that more so than anything else, so not much I could really do. However, we are here. Let's see, we're 3 rounds down the championship. We're here for Qatar run through, and we're going to have some final runs here, I believe. Jake Marsh, actually, he's, I have to see there, was that invalid? Yes, it was. Would want to be turning down the ERS if he wants any chance of getting a decent lap in there, because otherwise it's P20 at best. So I think it'll take you since we had limited time here, and obviously with our co-com this week is they are on holidays. So we'll go on board with Evil, who did very well at the last race here in PSGL F4 at Silverstone. So into turn 1 corner, you just want to hit your nice apex hook because it's necessary. Now here's turn 2, is where you can make a move. Fernando Alonso proved this very much. Then 3, and now braking for 4. You just need to maximise it, so you can keep the speed through 5. And now here's 6, where you have just a little bit slower, and it can spin a little there. It is easy enough to lock up. Now next right-hander, if you can get tight to the apex, good, as it'll open up here, and you see it's a little harder to maintain speed when you're going a little wide. And it's getting very, very nice there, and it's just managing towards the end of sector 2. And here comes a series of fast right-handers where you just need to keep your foot in it realistically. You see there, oh, invalid. It's unfortunate, and time of this now means it's gone. The man who was at the pointy end of the grid last week, he's now at the foot of the grid. So we'll have to keep an eye on who else is here, if they can get their laps in. Chug into the pits. That may must be a Red Bull into the pits. There's Flopman in the gravel. He's done. Nuno Espadas, he looks to be P6, and he's got the fuel symbol. I think that's it. Kart Racer pits, PA for him. Justin only P11. Hallett has went to the top. The Williams on pole, and Williams in 20th. It is rather... it's not often you see the same car on top and on the bottom. Right, do watch for Alpines as these Fashion Gold. Is Fashion Gold? No, that's... actually no, that is 5th. It just took us a little time to register. The line is a little late. We're on towards the straight. Mercedes are... Well, I believe that is it actually. I think we're just waiting for Flopman to be put into the pits. Obviously, Haas being a little further down the pit lane is the main thing here. That's just holding us up. But Hallett on pole, followed by Ron, and then Niels can be top 3. So with 1:22 being the 2:57 being the key time required. Eleven seems like saying Niels win. That'd be interesting. Chris Hallett takes pole position, followed by Shazoo Ron, and then TF Niels in P3, Ischag in P4, Veshko P5, Flop in P6, Known Spadas P7, Tiago P8, Kart Racer with a 5-place grid belt in P9, and Tiramiso P10. So it is a bit of a jumbled up grid compared to last week anyways. After 11th, Sven 12th developed by Justin, Artem, Adrian, Olaf, Asi, Hirio, Evil, and Jake Marsh. Evil and Marsh not setting times. And we have a lobby restart as illegal blocking penalties. It seems to be a prominent issue with the game. So that will constitute a restart. I believe what we are going to do is just wait for a new lobby, or for everyone to just retire, and by doing this we should be able to sort ourselves, and then make sure the likes of car race aren't penalised 5 places for something that's not really their fault. So just keep waiting, and we'll be able to figure out the situation in due course. You see 5 red lights, no formation laps in this case, and that'll be the same as for the race. And you see most cars are not there, so it'll be very much just waiting for the rest of these to DNF from the Grand Prix, and well, that's took care of a couple of them. The Aston Martin might have to fix themselves though. And we've got the invite to the game session. We'll see in a moment here where we have to go. So just bear with us a moment there. I am obviously now this will just take a moment, and hold on, we do have maybe an issue or two. Just this doesn't mean what I think it means. Okay, we're all good. So we have 18 to 22 drivers here. Obviously I'm spectator, so we just need 2 more. Here are to medieval yet to select the cars, and then after that we'll be able to know who we're missing. So and we needed 1 more driver. Obviously in this case we have to set the grid, and for a lobby restart, if anyone is tuning in for the first time, so see, the lobby host has to set the grid and make sure everyone's in the correct place. And what that then means also is people will have to reapply their setup for the race. This will mean that if there is the chance that somebody might be unable to apply their setup because of time, or they simply forget, in which case that is basically a, what you would call, it's just not going to help your race pretty much, because the setups are so important to speed. So see, that's only if you are first time. Obviously, if you are watching this regularly, we are going to know exactly what happens. So we have 20 drivers now, I believe. Everyone's in a car. I'm there as the commentator, so we should be all ready to go. And while we are here, just please make sure to check out site sponsor GT Omega and use code PSGL for 5% off for their products. So once we get the ready signal from I believe will be Ron, and I believe it has come, because now we are getting the timing. Obviously, if you are wondering, the weather is clear. It's Qatar, so we wouldn't expect anything really in the way of rain. It's just not really going to be an occurrence. And obviously the hope is just make sure that nothing like Qatar during daytime occurs. And we are now in, so hopefully this grid will be all set, and they will be, now we'll be able to get going. So yep, looks like everything is fine so far. Obviously you're going to have to wait a little longer than normal, because people will have to make sure their setups are applied and then their strategy. So obviously we have to keep waiting here, and we may not know when we're starting until pretty much when it does start. So here's proof. The lights are coming on. 5 red lights now. Look but never stare. It's lights out. We are racing here in Qatar. And there's have to watch. Has Halleck got the start he needed? He has. Looks like Ron has also managed to maintain status quo for the first couple of corners here. Niels getting around the outside of Ischik, and Fashion Gold passing on the inside of Flopman, and almost trying to get Ischik, but Ischik has managed to keep that place. Flopman now down the inside. Can he get the move done? He'll have the inside for the next part, and looks like with a little bit of squeeze he's got it done. And see, diving down the inside, the Aston Martin, Nono Spadis, trying to catch a kart racer who was 9th up the 8th, but it seems like he slipped back now. Kart racer now down the inside. That's the key for him, as he is fallen a bit behind. It looks like Artem is now in the Alpha Tauri. Alpha Tauri. He seems like the Alpha Tauris have had not had the best lap. This is Evil already making up places. He said he didn't try to practice more for this track, but seems like maybe with a race setting he tends to find a rhythm that might just be evading him slightly in qualifying. But as we end this first lap, it is looking very interesting. Obviously, DRS in only one section of the track means that the moves are going to be concentrated into turn 1. There'll be no getting you to turn 1 then getting you midway through another lap. So Hannah looks to be comfortable enough there at the front on the hard tyre. As we'll show you these now. Is that everyone on hard tyres except for, well, Artem I believe would have been on the hard tyre, but he's out to the pit, so he'll be hoping the mediums work out well. Maybe if he can start making a bit of inroads with these mediums, because the hards will take their time to warm up. Once they are warmed up, they are good, but that will take a little bit of time. So if you can use the mediums to your advantage, then that's good news for you. As for your oh, that's Sven. That's Sven round. So it looks like Assia also had a little bit of trouble. So for Italian teams, it seems to be not the best day. Sven also has a penalty to his name, and it's only lap 2 of 29. This may well become an issue. You see Ron in. Oh, you would say it's his DRS, but that won't be until next lap. He pulled out to the right just to have a little look, but the move's not going to happen now. There, so we just have to continue to be patient, and it may well just serve better just to sit there, protect tyres, rather than go for a move and risk maybe a spin or damage or something else that would be harmful to his race. And Ron, who is 6th in the championship, he had a unfortunate incident towards the end of Silverstone last week, which cost him any chance of a good point finish. But in the other 2 races he was in the top 5, so he'd be hoping in this instance he might be able to get the podium or even perhaps a win, and that'll be the difference. Well, Kart Racer has had a P1, P2 and a P5, so he is the championship leader, but Chris Hallett, who did not race last week, but has had a P1 in round 2 of Bahrain and then P2 in round 1 at Brazil, is in a good position here. He could snatch that championship back, but Ron, he might have other ideas. He's now gone for the right and he's into the lead, so Mercedes is now leading the Qatar Grand Prix. And see, oh, a little wide there is Jacob. It looks like Flopman's managed to get his way past eventually. He didn't quite get it done on lap 1, but in this case he managed to snatch that P4. I'm seeing where Flopman may be. I believe it was Flopman who's the other car who lost out there at Silverstone, as his contact with, well, Ron was the factor that caused the trouble. There's a support for Niels here in the chat very much, so they'll all be hoping that he can maybe make use of this P3. But the thing is, with the strategy, there's very little variance. It might just be because people focus on setups, but nobody's trying a medium hard. Although, if anyone wanted to gamble with softs, it'd be unlikely. If that's actually Sven retiring on track, that's probably a penalty coming his way. Because the standard procedure is, if you, oh no, that's Ron, he's filled out to 3rd. You know, that's when we were looking at retirement. Niels, he got past Hannah and Ron, so Hannah clearly, well, he got 1 car, but then he was passed by a car, so ended up being status quo, but now Neil's up to P1, and that's going to make a good portion of our viewership very happy, so should stick around for a bit. Oh, that's another yellow flag. That's Adrian. He's fell down the order here, and it seems like Marsh and Olive are ghosting. Well, Olaf was ghosting through Marsh, but that is the knowledge. You rarely see cars that racing through each other ghosting. Ghosting usually, it's only when somebody like spins that makes a difference. You see Marsh just trying to get within the 1 second, because that is the key. You see this very much. You see the kind of DRS trains that you have in PSGL. I could actually have to wonder, is there a Red Bull going to make a move? And Aston Martin? The Martin. It says Afton and Justin. Red Bull and Aston Martin occupying some of the middle slots here, as Justin manages to squeeze out after. So, but after he'll try and get the inside maybe. Oh, he's just gonna back off. However, it looks like, and he's just seems to be inviting him for the place, but it just won't quite work. Teramiso is now trying himself to see if he can find a place, and it's not quite. So it's just very much, it seems to be an opportunity on. But that opportunity very quickly goes away. Neil's holding on to the lead, which should be important enough if you can just build some consistency at the front. If we read Neil's season, he is 5th in the championship, having picked up point finishes in, well, podium in Bahrain and P6 in Silverstone. Obviously, Brazil, he didn't score, but in this case, actually, it's Chris Hallett now makes the move. Hallett to the front, and Hallett, he'd be looking to try and become the first person to win 2 races in F4 this season. This would be crucial for him if he was just able to build up these good results, because if you can keep winning, it often helps if, in the case of count back ever becoming a possibility, because if you're winning, that means you will hold the aces in the event of it all being even. But it's very interesting. All cars seem to be able to stick with the leading pack. So this, now sometimes with new tracks, everyone makes an extra effort to practice them, which obviously Evil said they didn't do enough. But obviously in circumstances, people will be even enough in these kind of tracks. Some discrepancies may form as we go on into this race, as maybe pit stops come round, and that finally breaks up some of these drivers. Marsh got even the white there, but it seems like Olaf got the penalty. It's actually as Neil's back to the front, and Ron trying to make the move. Seems like Hannah's managed to use that outside line, which then becomes the inside. Very, very well, and he's managed to keep P2. So now Ron just maybe thinking what way he could get past, because honestly all it would take is maybe Flopman deciding to go for it here, and he could be down to 4th. But you see, it's not worth it for either of them really. A little bit oversteer for Flopman on the exit. You'll want to manage that. The track limits there is going to be probably a key thing, because if you get maybe a warning or two, it's going to put you under pressure, and it being a new track to the game, even with all the practice in the world, you might just not have gonna keep within it, and maybe that compared to a Spa or a Silverstone where you've been doing that track since probably F1 2017, or even if it was only F1 2019 or 20, could be that way. As Jake Marsh now picks up the penalty, so it seems like getting white there at the penultimate corner is also an issue. Hannah, is he going to go take back this lead? Yes, he is. He will take back this lead. However, in this case, Ron can't do much about it. To take advantage. And Niels, well, he'll have to tuck in now. But so far, so good for Niels. This track is doing well here, along with most of this pack. It seems like the penalties are falling down. That's Flopman. Actually, no, that's... We've got a spinner. That's Evil. Evil's fallen off there. And it seems like we've now finally had a break in the bunch. Marsh is up to 13th, but he's 1.6 seconds off to Remiso. And that will prove crucial, because you need to be within that 1 second just to make sure you're going to benefit DRS, and it becomes more important with Qatar. You need downforce here. Because none of Spada's first person to top 10 to pick up a penalty. This will be important for the race here. So that's Jake Marsh burning a bit, I believe. As I was showing you there, the difference in percentage. Marsh is falling back now, as actually that's Hirio down the inside. Marsh won't be able to keep that spot, but it might not be the worst thing to happen. Hannah still keeping the lead here over Niels and Ron. As it still seems like everyone is believing in Niels to win this race. If El Capitano can manage it, I think it will be a very good result for his championship. As in, yeah, see all the ERS, it's actually you would think is very detrimental, because otherwise you're just hitting your limit and you're not getting any regeneration. You may as well use some. Regenerate a bit in the parts of the track where you're not going to need it. As that's Tiago. That needs that adjusted, I believe, so moves can be done elsewhere in comparison to turn 1. As you see, Justin getting it moved back, and that's Niels and Ron up to P1 and 2, so Hallett, he's going to have to settle down in 3rd. So now, what was generally seemed to be a battle between the Ferrari and the Williams is now going to be a battle between the Ferrari and Mercedes now as the top 2. And I would have to agree that maybe Niels could start to use some of the ERS, because if you can use it, you might just be able to pull away, and when you pull away, it all of a sudden makes the guy behind a bit of a sitting duck. But all it takes is one singular mistake and they're in trouble. As the pit stops are not going to come round just yet. That's Suzy with the hard tyres. This pit stop window is going to come a little bit later. And the likes of R10 will be probably need to be hoping for a safety car about now to just like make their strategy work, because those they might bail for mediums, but you'd have the advantage of the tyre, whereas that's actually Flopman and Ishak battling in the last corner. Both of them will have DRS here, so it might just be a problem with setup, but it seems like Ishak has got a little bit more straight line speed, and that's made the difference. Mysterio is past After. After seems to be dropping a bit here. Is it Hirio and Tiramisu banging wheels down towards four. Alpines here have managed to make themselves a bit of a roadblock. Namely Esteban Ocon, and he's done to defend like a lion. Obviously, in comparison to Alonso Hungary, it didn't seem so, but it might well have proved the difference. In that case, as Alonso did get his podium, and apparently an Ocon would eventually MP5. As that's an McLaren evil, so you might think this race has been a bit evil to him because he's looking like he won't score points this week, and that's not going to be helpful to his championship. Seems like Neil's been able to bring a little bit of a gap there, which is not bad at all. I see DRS will now be a factor. It's that, I say, 3-second penalty. Ron really closing up under the DRS, but Neil seems to be using it sparingly, which may well prove the difference if he wants to get an undercut. As that's actually evil. We spun at the last corner, broke the front wing, and usually you don't often see that here at Qatar. Mind you, we've only been here once, and the only car we've ever seen like parked at around the last corner was Gasly when he ran over the curbs and punctured his tyre. So a spin like that is, well, it can happen. Don't usually see it. Because all that picking up a 3-second time penalty, that may well not be his first. I don't think it is his first race. It's his fourth of the race. 12 seconds of penalties. That is pretty much putting yourself out of contention for anything in this race, because you simply can't really pull 12 seconds at all. That's actually fashion goal plus Flopman. No, Flopman's into the pits. We have pitters. So we have Ron, Flopman, Thiago and Justin. Thiago, he's probably picked the wrong lap. He's going to have to double stack, and that's bad timing for him. It seems like it hasn't been too bad considering this double stack, but this is the situation we're in. And now Ron is going to be hoping that these mediums will go the distance and make sure he has optimum pace until the distance. Flopman is also thinking the same. Justin after Thiago. Artem is obviously, he's a couple of seconds off them. That's Evil retiring in the pit lane. We just have to make sure that wasn't a crasher, because if that happened, that would have changed up the order of the race dramatically. And the key for Ron here is he needs to start pushing here, make the undercut work, because even if maybe I'll see Niels and Hannah this like Fashion Go Kart Racer all in the pits now. Tiramisu also wins, so it seems like the teammate communications here haven't been great. One of them probably should have come in the previous lap, and against the Hasses, one of them should have been in now instead of a lap ago. So now Hannah, Niels all getting their pit stops. I have to watch now for Ron, as he's going to be coming down the straight here, and he's going to get out ahead of Niels. Niels will probably see him on the exit there. He's got the job done. Ron, he's got the move done. Flopman's also managed to jump himself to net second. Niels is down to third, Hannah down to fourth. And since Justin's up to fifth, it's just got down to net sixth. And you now see the difference. It's Tirio versus Jake Marsh now for the lead of the race outright. but the net lead is in Ron's hands, followed by Flopman, as it seems like the undercut here at Qatar has been the right call to make. Niels is going to have a bit of work to do to make the pass, because I think he would have actually, just watch here. Flopman really close. Niels, he needs to push on here, use a bit of that ERS, and it probably should have been used in the last lap, because if he had, he might well have gotten in between Flopman and Ron, or even kept his lead. You see Flopman, oh, that's Azzy in the pit lane, so that's a little odd. Looks like Adrian's going to continue on, because if he is to get a safety car, it would make his race. But Ron and Flopman, status quo, even though they were pretty close. Seems like Jake Marsh has filed out towards the back here, but being on fresher tyres might pay dividends in the end. So interesting. That tells you that that yellow flag is nothing to be concerned about. As R10 onto another set of the mediums. I have to wonder, what is Adrian going to do here? Because do you stick it out and hope a safety car comes around that allows you to make your stop? Or no, you bail and figure, I can't really wait around much longer. These tyres are too bad and I'm going to have to just switch now before something ruins the race completely. But now it's Ron from Flopman, from Niels, Hannah, Justin, Strike, Fashion Gold, after from Kart Racer, and then once the pit stop made, Nuno Espadas in the top 10. See a little bit of a distance now between the cars. Pit stops will do that, as some people pitting early jump up. Oh, so that's Hannah. Hannah spun it. He has spun the car in 180 degrees, and he's now lost out here. He's going to be out of points, and he'll need to be really honest to get back up there. He's going to have to start by making the move round outside of Hirio. But Hirio's got the inside line, that'll be important, but the speed of the outside line will now work to become the inside line for Hannah. But it seems like Hirio, he's very much putting to the outside in all his cases. May well be the move. It's like down to 9th. So a bit of a bad lap there for Chris Hallis and his check. And also look at Niels, Flopman, Ron, still near status quo. That should go up to P4 and be happy enough in that Alpine to be getting up towards the pointy end of this grid. There's 12 laps to go. It has Justin into the pit and also Ishak, so there may well have been contact here. And that might just... Ishak's retired, so he's got contact, and looks like, yeah, there was contact with Justin because he's now changing his wing. Oh, that's... I mean, well, that's really hurt his champ. And he, point scoring hopes there today. You know, good news for Kart Racer is with all that, he's up to 6th, and his nearest rival Hallett is 9th. So, and Justin has had to go to the pits for the win. So Niels may well be the... It's actually Niels, yeah, Niels is back to the lead. We totally missed that, and I do apologise, but El Capitano has snatched the lead back, and that may well be important. But Niels being on low enough points in comparison to Kart Racer is seems like he'll be able to close, but he won't be able to overtake Kart Racer in the standings. see, is Flopman going to do anything here? Ron was the one who really lost out here, down to third again, but he can get himself back up there if he can just find a little more pace. This is Hirio versus Hallett, and this is going to annoy Hallett because Hirio's got a penalty. He's going to be ahead anyways, but he just needs probably to get a move on because he has pace to compete with the guys like Niels, Flopman and Ron. But in this case just being stuck behind the Alfa Romeo is not going to be a help at all. See, Flopman, he didn't have an unfortunate end to his race, but it seems like he has the speed to be important here in PSGL F4, even if he is a reserve. As you see, we'll have 3-second time penalty, yet another one. It's not a good day for Olaf. Seems like track limits just can't keep himself from going over them or cutting corners. As Niels holds that lead, followed by Flopman, then Ron, and then Fashion Gold. As it seems like this top 6 here is stuck together through all this. Actually, that's it. After going a little bit wide, it's not going to help. I think after pitted a little early, so he may well benefit from the full undercut. But his tires are the oldest, so he's going to be a little bit slower maybe in comparison to the others because it's just that tire difference. It mightn't mean that much, but it might just mean enough to he just get passed by Kart Racer here in the next before the race is out. I'll have another time penalty. It seems the penalties are really rolling in. That's a Mercedes. That's, well, I believe that would be Olaf. It's had a bit of a spin, but it hasn't went into a gravel trap because crashed out. So that is, I want to make sure we aren't under safety car. Niels holding that lead. A lot of ERS still. Others have a bit of ERS themselves, but it seems like Niels holds the slight advantage. Hallett now gets a penalty for his troubles. That's going to let Thiago get back up. That means like Nuno Espadas is not going to have to worry about Hallett. It's probably just going to be Thiago making up a few places is when the checker flag falls. Zartem time penalty, it's not going to mean that much. Zartem is the last of those on track, but it just doesn't really help you that much either. Your top 6 all together. Is Flopman going to look at anything this time? No. They're just getting right up there, but if that straight was just a little bit longer, the move might have been on. There's none of us. There's actually, sorry, Halla's been he managed to keep 10th, but it seems like Thiago is he will go from 11 to 7 still. However, actually no, he mightn't. Let's see. He mightn't, to be honest. But you see down the inside, there you go. It is Marsh trying to move. doesn't really work for him, but he will have more and more opportunities as this race goes on. The mistakes become a little more likely. There may well be one half mistake from Tiago that just allows Jake through, but Jake with that 3 seconds is not going to be in the best place. You see Ron now makes his move. He's got pulled out to the right of Haas alongside and now ahead of the Haas of Flopman. So Ron, who will be hoping now that he can get this lead, is he had this lead earlier on in the race. He had it for the first couple of laps. But actually that's a safety car. That's Marsh. Marsh is out of the race, and that's now changed everything. Marsh, I believe he must have lost it on the exit of 1 and hit the wall, because that's where he stopped, and you can only imagine it was just too much power. So now it's a choice that's to be made. I see with a restart, you have fresh softs. What we're having to see now is Niels. He will be the first one to make a call, and that would be the worst place to be in. You just don't know. Is that call worth it? Sometimes it depends on how many people think it's the right idea. Because if not many people do. Oh, he's trying to fake it into the pit. Or fake them to stay out. But he dives in, and so do the rest of the top 3. And it looks like the rest of these are all into the pits. Nobody is going to take a gamble by staying out. Everyone's going for these for a pit stop, because I believe the softs are that much better. Neil took by Ron, and it's like Flopman. Well, Fashko nearly got ahead of him there for a second, but Flopman has the place after then Car Racer. Flopman. Here they go. Espadas, Halas, Tiramisu, Tiago, Adrian, Olaf, Justin, Arthur. And we are on the safe side. Just once again remind you, check out GD Omega tire sponsor, check out the product, make sure you use the discount code PSGL in the online store for a nice 5% off. Niels is now going to have to pace the field here. This is it. This is the key. Can Niels manage to pace this field and just then pull away when necessary? Now this now makes the penalties that much more manageable, because there wasn't gaps now, you know, that allow people to get away with their penalty. Obviously top 4, it's a straight fight, but we might check warnings here for a moment. Niels is clean as you get. Let's see, Ron had a warning on lap 1, but that may well be a collision warning. Foreman is a warning on lap 10. However, whether that was a collision is also questionable. But it seems like the top 4 are going to be very much straight fight. After, he's hampered by a penalty. Kart Racer, if he can make a move, he gets to go into that fight with those who don't have the penalty. So basically a top 5 fight is all going to be on merit, assuming the kart racer can make a pass. You've got penalties in from 7th down to 10th, so you're going to probably expect Tiago and Adrian to inherit some places come to finish. Justin, not so much. Olaf, well, I won't be surprised with a DSQ for penalties, given he is about 27 seconds of them. And if you reach, I'd say probably after about 30, you see a DSQ. So they expect this safety car to be in on this lap. We'll see with this race start. Niels, he now becomes a safety car. Yeah, so as I was saying, Niels, he becomes the effective safety car by default. And yep, that's the message. You end of sector 2, you get that message. So he just has to wait now. Keep maybe as long as the minimum speed isn't too low. Let's just don't go under. I mean, that's a certain speed, because then people will start to complain. So just keep them tires warm. Maybe you have the brakes ready to use. Just heating the tires. Whatever trick you have, it may well be used now. He's just holding it here, not weaving, not doing a thing. He's just keeping it smooth. Now on the long enough turn, just trying to put some heat in the tyre. He can have to pick a moment to go. He can leave it late if he wishes. As this guy's at the pits, he has the choice. He's really holding it. He's got it right. Olaf has got 5 seconds there. So that will not help his case at all. But it seems like Flopman is going to look for a move around the outside of Ron. Has he got it done? He's got beautiful. He's got it done right. Or he even get to third too. And that is a sensational move there from Flopman to get that second place. You know, it looks like after it's looking to maybe get a little in amongst it there. Oh no, that's not ended well. Oh no, that's now. They got a penalty. Oh dear. Tiramisu is off as well. That is. He stopped. That is a. Tiramisu is going to have to move here. Carries of 5 seconds gaining a place. That may well be removed if we know the context. Text with Tiramisu retired. That is that going to bring out a safety car or not? It could have come out there now if it wished, but I believe now we're not going to get it. So there's Niels won by Flopman, Ron, Fashigal, Kart Racer. Looks like Aptus fell down to 9th, so that's a loss there for him. So 13 remain. It seems like this Grand Prix has a little bit of a chaos. R10 has now got a chance to get back here, but it seems like the slow Justin there, for whatever reason, not even reaching the 8th gear. Now we're on the. After this, it'll be 2 laps to go. Niels, he's had this race very much in control. He managed to get the move done, and it seemed like he was settling down. Now here's the opportunity for some of these other guys, like the Flopman and Ron, to make their own move. Kart Racer is going to have to wonder, can he get that penalty removed? If he can, it's going to be top 5. If not, he's going to probably have to settle for, at best, 6th place. As I will now reference you over to penalties. Hirio actually has 9 seconds, so that will be a position gain for Kart Racer, but he's going to probably lose 2 to Espadas and Hamlet. And also the fact that Thiago and Adrian have no penalties, so this could turn out to be very, very nice for Thiago and Adrian. A result maybe we didn't quite have the pace, but they managed to control the controllables and get a good result. After fastest lap, he'll pick up a point for that. If he's, well, the penalties, whether he stays there, it's actually that's kart racer dropping down. Oh, he's a little bit tripped to the gravel, and that's going to really mess with his race. Unless he gets the penalty removed in case he might salvage something, but it's not looking great at the moment. But now his range going to be now or never here. You've one DRS zone, one lap. You probably have to make that move into one, or you've got to hope for any mistake from the guy ahead of you. Because you will want to just manage your results as well, and then you think, alright, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Maybe if you're trying to just get a move into points, it will be. But if you're not, or if you're already in good point playing positions, you might just think twice. But now here we go. Niels, he's going to have to maybe move over a bit. He's going to try to weave. Can it work? See Flopman really getting close. He's got to get the inside here into one. Can he make the move stick? He can for a bit. It looks like he has. He's got it done. Niels Cuttons hanging on the outside, and what looks like it was going to be the first win seen for Niels is now going to be Flopman's first win on his second race in this season. And that's actually the opportunity of R10 gone off. That is it for his chance at the points. But with the penalties, it was looking a bit unlikely. Niels now needs to figure out, can I make a move anywhere? Will I be able to gain time enough to make a move anywhere? Flopman seems to have built up a really nice gap, so there's not much ways this will go now. Well, there's not many ways this can go in favour of Niels unless Flopman throws himself off the road. Flopman still going well. He's now got 2 more corners to negotiate. There's now one more. This has maybe a little incident in the last race. This time with a bit of a kick of oversteer and a touch of the barrier. Actually, Niels might get him. Niels has got him. It's not even a photo finish. Niels has got the win. Flopman's going to be kicking himself. Ron completes the podium, followed by Fashion Gold. Then Thiago and Adrian P5 and P6. Very good result for them despite not being up there. Hannes P7, Espadas P8, Kart Racer P9, but potential penalty removable in place after 10th, and then Hario 11th, Justin 12th, R10 13th. Looks like he's going to try to make it a little more stylish across the line, but it's not really going to work that way. He might be able to reverse over the line before getting the DSQ. Actually, he's just going to avoid that one, just nice spin over the line, but that is yep, he's got it done. Justin's retired. I'm not sure what to say there. I think Flopman, he got the bad exit. He had the oversteer, and that just allowed Niels to snatch a win away. So there's your podium. Niels, he probably was a bit annoyed with himself there at turn 1 in the first turn in the last lap. By the time he got out of the last turn in the last lap, he probably couldn't believe what he'd seen, because Flopman had the same kick of oversteer that Max Verstappen had in Abu Dhabi, but in that case, him being on soft tyres compared to Hamilton's hard, it just you, in that case, like, Flopman just didn't have the margin that Verstappen would have had. But here you are, a chaotic enough ending to the race, but Niels from third on the grid manages to get the win, followed by Flopman in second, then Ron in third, Go fourth, Thiago fifth, Adrian sixth. So these two very much benefiting from the penalties. And as Hannes 7, Spadase 8, carries a 9 after 10th, winning the points. Then there's Hirio, Artem and Justin were your non-point scorers, finishers. And DNS for Tiramisu, Jake Marsh, Istag, Asi, Evil, Sven and Olaf. Although Olaf was DSQ for penalty accumulations. That is it for the stream now. So once again, make sure to check out GT Omega and the rest of the PSGL channels. I believe F1 will be on now along with the other tiers, and they will be F7, F3, I believe F5 is on now. Yeah, so just make sure to check all of those tiers out. Make sure to check in for PSG PC midweek. Apologise once again for the trouble starting the stream, but not much I could do from my end. So thank you all for watching, and I'll make sure you can tune in next week for what I believe will be Austria. So expect to see some good racing.